Welcome to the Science of Fiction HFY Galaxy Tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story from HFY Galaxy Tales. Where humanity always finds a way, the ashes of Earth, the stars were quiet. Too quiet for a galaxy that once roared with the voice of humanity. 3,000 years ago, Earth had burned under the fire of the Galactic Council. They said humans were too dangerous, too unpredictable, too wild, so they came with fleets, fire, and fury. In 1 week, Earth was gone, nothing left but dust, and ruins spinning in cold space. The Galactic Council celebrated their great cleansing. They declared peace, order, and the end of human chaos. They erased human records, deleted names, and marked Earth as extinct. The universe moved on, or so it believed. Far from the Council's reach, in a forgotten system near the edge of the spiral arm, a signal blinked. It came from a shattered research vessel, orbiting a dead moon. Inside, a cryochamber hissed open. Commander Rynn gasped as air rushed into his lungs. His body ached, but his mind woke sharp. He had slept for nearly 3,000 years. The ship, named Horizon Echo, ran on emergency power. Systems were damaged, lights flickered, and walls groaned. Rynn stumbled to the command chair and activated the main console. System status, he whispered, his voice dry and cracked. The AI replied in a calm female tone. Power at 12%, long-range communication offline. Cryovault integrity failed, you are the only survivor. He felt cold, not from the air, but from the truth. He searched the databanks, heart pounding. There were no signals from Earth, no familiar frequencies, just silence. Then he found a final encrypted file titled Project Emberfall. He opened it, and the screen showed the last images of Earth. Beautiful blue oceans, green forests, towering cities, and then, flames. The video ended with a woman's voice, soft and sorrowful, to those who wake in the dark. Remember what they took, never forgive, never forget. Rynn sat still for minutes, staring into the black screen. Earth was gone, humanity erased, but he was awake. He stood and looked out the broken viewport, watching the stars. They thought they had ended us, he thought, but we were never that easy to kill. In the vault beneath the ship's floor, Rynn found crates filled with encoded DNA samples, old Earth culture archives, weapons blueprints, and AI child programs. The Horizon Echo had not just been a research ship, it was a seed vault. A backup of humanity. They called it Project Ember because it was meant to burn silently through space, then light up again. He activated the beacon. A coded signal meant only for one kind. Other Emberfall ships, scattered across the galaxy, had the same message: awaken, Earth needs you. Within months, silent lights flickered in different systems, deep in asteroid belts, hidden under icy planets. Other survivors woke up. Not all were human. Some were AI with human minds. Others were born from synthetic wombs, but carried Earth's legacy in their veins. They came together in secret, built ships, shared stories, trained warriors, and remembered Earth. Rynn became their leader, not by force, but by memory. He had seen the truth, felt the loss, and carried the fire in his chest. He trained them in old Earth tactics, stealth, speed, precision. They learned to move like shadows and strike like storms. One night, as they orbited a dead world, a young girl named Kayla approached Rynn. She was born from a growth chamber, but had the soul of a fighter. Commander, she asked, do we want revenge or justice? Rynn looked at her, his eyes heavy with time. Justice burns fast, he said. But revenge burns forever. Years passed, and the new humans prepared in silence. They built ships from scrap and memory, forged weapons from forgotten plans. They studied the Council's systems, found weaknesses, blind spots, fear. They were no longer the humans of old. They were sharper, colder, stronger. They called themselves the Ashborn. Before they moved, Rynn recorded a message. It was short, only 3 words. He sent it through ancient frequencies, old Earth channels the Council had long ignored. The message echoed through empty space, picked up by forgotten machines. It said, Earth remembers you. And on a Council-controlled moon, in a secure station, a technician looked at the screen. With confusion, he played the message again and again. Not understanding, but somewhere deep inside the Council's main database, a red alert flickered alive for the first time in 3,000 years. They thought Earth was dead. They were wrong. The new humans *, the Council ignored the signal at first. They thought it was a glitch, a ghost message, a leftover echo from ancient code. But then, colonies began to vanish, not with explosions, not with fire, but with silence. Entire stations went dark, trade routes empty, patrols missing, surveillance drones found only hollow buildings and blackened walls. No blood, no bodies, no alarms. Just silence and one message left behind. Earth remembers you. Panic spread quietly through the upper chambers of the Galactic Council. They were old, proud, and blind. They believed they had erased humanity. Now something had returned, and it was moving through the shadows. On the world of Deathbros, where battleships were built and tested, something even stranger happened. A fleet of prototype cruisers vanished from dry dock. Security footage showed nothing except darkness. But one engineer swore he saw the stars blink just before it happened. In a secret chamber deep beneath Veldar Prime, Counselor Rynn watched old human war videos. He had fought in the Earth Purge 3,000 years ago. He remembered their cleverness, their stubbornness, their fire. He paused the footage and stared at a group of humans charging through smoke. They should not be back, he whispered, but if they are, we are not ready. Far away, on a moon without a name, the Ashborn trained in silence. They lived in caves carved by time, lit only by dim orange glowstones. Their ships rested, under ice, cloaked and invisible. Children learned battle drills before they learned to speak. AI tutors taught them human history mixed with survival skills. Old Earth songs echoed from cave speakers, soft, haunting, filled with memory. Commander Rynn stood among them. Older now, his beard gray, his eyes steel. He watched a group of new warriors spar in a frozen field. Their movements were fast, their eyes focused, their bodies lean and precise. They weren't just trained for war, they were built for it. Kayla, now grown, walked beside him. She wore armor made from salvaged council tech, repainted with red streaks across the chest. They still underestimate us, she said. They think we're myths. Rynn nodded. That's their mistake. The Ashborn did not fight like other armies. They didn't face the enemy in open war. They struck like ghosts, disabling satellites, stealing fuel, cutting supply chains. They left behind only one symbol, painted in ash on walls and windows, the shape of Earth. The galaxy began to whisper. Pirate clans refused council contracts, fearing the Ashborn. Merchant guilds rerouted trade paths to avoid the human zones. And still, the council called them terrorists, refusing to admit what they were. Then, something changed. The Ashborn didn't just attack, they spoke. In a hijacked council broadcast, a human voice filled every screen, every ship, every home. It was deep, calm, and unforgettable. We are the children of Earth. It said, you burned our world, but not our will. We have returned to balance the scales. The broadcast lasted only 60 seconds. But it changed everything. People across the galaxy asked questions. Who were the Ashborn? What did they want? Were the council's old stories true? On some fringe planets, the humans became legends, heroes rising from dust. On others, they became nightmares, a warning told to children. But for the council, it was war. They declared a new campaign called Operation Clean Sky. Fleet after fleet was sent into the outer systems, searching for Ashborn bases, but they found nothing. Their ships vanished, their generals disappeared, and their maps turned blank. Inside the council's highest chamber, chaos stirred. Counselor Rynn slammed a metal fist on the table. You made a mistake, he growled. We should have finished the job. Another member replied. How? Earth is gone. Rynn pointed to the screen where the Earth symbol glowed in white. Not anymore. Back on the ice moon, Rynn gathered his top commanders. They stood around a table made of black stone, stars etched into its surface. Rynn raised his hand. The time for shadows is ending, he said. The council fears us. But they do not understand us. They think this is revenge, Kayla said. But it's much more. Rynn nodded. It's reckoning. The Ashborn fleet prepared in silence. Ships rose from the ice, wings glowing blue, hulls carved with earth markings. Every warrior knew what they were fighting for, not just for the past, but for the future. This was not just a return. This was the rewriting of history, and across every Ashborn outpost. One phrase echoed before the final launch. We are not their mistake. We are their warning. The fire reborn asterisk, the sky above Veldar Prime turned black, not from clouds, but from the arrival of the Ashborn fleet. Massive ships blocked the stars, their engines silent, their weapons hot. No warnings, no demands, just presence. Panic gripped the capital. Citizens ran to shelters. Council guards scrambled fighters into the air. The great domes that once protected the elite shimmered with shields. But everyone inside knew the shield was just a delay, not a defense. Commander Rynn stood on the bridge of the lead Ashborn ship. The crew behind him was calm, focused, ready. Kayla stood to his right. Her hand resting on her weapon, she whispered, "We made it." Rynn nodded. "Now we finish it." He opened a secure channel to the council's war room. Faces appeared nervous, confused, angry. Counselor Rynn leaned forward, growling, "Who are you?" Rynn stared at him with cold eyes. "I am the voice of Earth. You should not exist." Rynn said, "You were erased." Rynn's lips curled slightly. Mistake number 1, he tapped the console. And Earth's final recordings played. Behind him, the blue oceans, the forests, the music, the children's laughter. Then came the fire, the destruction, the end, and a final voice echoed. "Never forgive, never forget. This is what you destroyed." Rynn said, "This is what we became. Your council built peace on top of genocide." Kayla added, "Now truth has returned." The council tried to respond, but their words were lost in static. Rynn shut the channel. He turned to the fleet. "All ships, target defense arrays and fleet command. Strike clean, strike fast, strike silent." The Ashborn moved like fire, one by one. Council warships exploded in controlled bursts. Shield towers collapsed, falling like glass trees. Fighter drones malfunctioned as Ashborn viruses scrambled their systems. Within hours, the skies were clear, the capital helpless. Rynn's ship landed in the center of the council's plaza. The old Earth symbol glowed red on its hull. Ashborn warriors marched out, their armor shining with frost and fury. They did not burn the city. They did not kill civilians. They walked to the council's heart with silence and purpose. Inside the chamber, the council waited. Some still believed they could negotiate. Others knew it was too late. Rynn entered, flanked by Kayla and his commanders. He walked straight to the central seat, the same seat used when Earth was sentenced. He sat down slowly, placing a piece of Earth's soil on the table. It was dark, rich, and full of memory. "This was our home," he said. "You called it dangerous, so you destroyed it. You feared our freedom, our passion, our chaos." Kayla said, "So you called it evil." Rynn leaned forward. "Now we ask the galaxy who are the monsters." He did not kill the council. Instead, he stripped them of power, exposed their crimes, and shared Earth's story across the stars. Every world received the truth, raw, painful, undeniable. Footage of Earth's last moments, council soldiers, laughing, cities burning, and the silence that followed. The galaxy trembled. Old allies of the council turned away. New voices rose, demanding justice, truth, and history. And in the middle of it all stood the Ashborn, not conquerors, but reminders. They dismantled the council's war machine, freed colonies forced into silence, rebuilt lost archives, and restored languages erased long ago. And where Earth once stood just dust and radiation, they built a new world. They called it Ashara, the Phoenix planet. Ashara was not perfect. It was wild, strong, full of storms and fire, but it carried Earth's soil, its sky, its soul. Children played in fields under new stars. Old songs returned, and new stories began. In the center of Ashara, a monument stood tall, a human child reaching up to the stars. Hand open, not clenched. Below it, engraved in every known language, were these words: "Forgiveness is human, but so is fury." Rynn grew older, his hair silver, his eyes soft. Kayla became a leader, a teacher, a mother to the next generation. They didn't raise warriors, they raised humans, and sometimes, at night, Rynn walked alone through the hills of Ashara. He looked up at the stars, remembering Earth. The pain never faded, but it changed. It became fuel, not fire. And in that silence, he always whispered the same words. Earth remembers. The end.